Must be a bad knife. Another bad knife. Another bad knife. Another bad knife.
Well, I hope you guys love the liberal government, because we're going to get a whole lot more liberal government over the next 4 years. But why? Well, in an unprecedented move, the liberals have managed to secure a majority. And wait until I tell you what this truly means for what's to come in Canada. My name is Eli Daniel, and this is the Right Call Report. Like, share, subscribe. Every interaction helps get the word out and hopefully break that CBC-induced coma that so many Canadians are under. And let me tell you, we need it more than ever right now. And if you're tired of that same old government and media BS and just simply want some common sense commentary, well, smash that subscribe button because you found the right place. So today I got somber news. This is breaking just from a couple hours ago. I'm staying up. It's midnight and I'm recording this to hopefully air tomorrow. I got to edit it. But the Liberals have just pulled off something way out of their hat that I would have never imagined. And we're also going to look at what this means with regards to Bill C9, which now, sadly, will go right through Parliament like butter. Oh, so stick around because you don't want to miss this. So the Liberals secured a majority. There's no other way to say it. They've managed to do it. Not through elections, not through democracy, not thanks to the will of the people, but through secret, sly, sneaky, and manipulative backroom deals. So we have another floor crosser. But this time, it wasn't a conservative, like that's any consolation. Rather, it was a member of the NDP. Now, to remind you guys, this brings the Liberal Party to 170 seats, and they only need 172 to form a majority. Now, keep in mind that in about 1 month, there will be 3 by-elections. So the Liberals only need to secure 2 of them to win that majority. And I'm sad to say, but 2 of those by-elections are in Toronto, in Liberal strongholds. Like, literally, it would take the apocalypse for them to lose. So in short, we can safely assume that this is a done deal. This is canned. It's done. It's over. Now, this is unprecedented in the history of Canada because at no point in time ever has a government formed a majority thanks to floor crossing. Now, don't get me wrong, plenty of parties have gathered floor crossers over the years. The Conservatives have done such a thing, but they were already forming a majority. This is a whole other ballgame. So who's this former, now NDP floor crosser that just handed the Liberal a majority? Well, it's no other than Nunavut's MP, Lori Idlaut. And I do apologize. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. What's interesting about Lori is that back in January, she had came out publicly saying that the Liberals were courting her. They were trying to get her on board. And she stated, I wouldn't be as free to criticize the government if she crossed the floor. So she flat out refused. She came out, said she wouldn't do it, stuck to her guts, her instincts, her convictions. Well, temporarily, that is. I mean, she's already proven herself to make a fine Liberal with that major flip-flop. Not that I had any big hopes for her to begin with. I mean, after all, she was in the NDP. Speaking of which, let's look a little deeper into what character does Lori have? So this is her X account, and we're just going to scroll through it casually. So the obligatory repost of anti-Trump stuff right here. You know, we must take a strong stance against Trump's economic war in Canada. Obviously. Another repost that is anti-American and all these American companies that I am certain she and her constituencies use. But let's take a second here to look at this repost from former NDP leader Jack Meat. God, I miss Jack Meat. That guy was a never-ending meme in my book. The champagne socialist, the Maserati Marxist. I miss him. Almost more than Trudeau. So he tweeted, today marks 30 years without clean water in this First Nation. 30 years of children suffering with rashes. 10 years ago, the Liberals made another empty promise to the First Nation, yet they're still waiting. Now the Liberals fight communities like theirs, blah, blah, blah. He's effectively attacking the Liberals. She reposted it. A little, say, lacking conviction now again, isn't it? See, this is the thing with these politicians. Time and time and time again, there's no convictions behind the words. They will say whatever is trendy, whatever buys them votes, whatever the people want to hear. It's so hard to truly know what they stand for, lest we just assume that the only thing they stand for is power. It's their own personal glory of sorts. Because let's be honest, if you repost someone attacking liberals and then you join the liberals, what does that really say about your character? Now, mind you, it's not just her, okay? There are so many politicians like that. Heck, I'm willing to say it's most of them. And now, of course, the obligatory virtue signaling post for Black History Month. I mean, that's a given. That had to be there. I would have been surprised had it never been. And yet another questionable, ironic, convictionless post of hers where she attacks the liberals for cutting funding for Indigenous women and 2S LGBTQQ. Oh, there's 2 Qs now. Or maybe that's a typo. I don't know, to be honest with you, with all the things going on. I could be behind at times. Maybe we've added another Q. Maybe there's a third one on the way. I don't know. But why would she attack the liberals right here and join them? Well, now, it didn't take long for the current leader of the NDP party to come out with his statement. And it reads, "We're very disappointed that Lori Idlout has decided to join the Liberal caucus. The position of the New Democrats on floor crossing is long-standing and clear. We believe that when someone rejects the decision of their electors and wants to join another party, they should put that decision to their voters." Well, I never thought I'd actually agree with an NDP leader, but here we are. It is, again, unprecedented times. But I'm completely in agreement with him. See, it's been a while I've been saying that if someone crosses the floor, it is their right. It is, after all, yes, a feature of democracy. You want to go to another party, that's fine. You should be free to do so. But your constituency elected you. And yes, under the Westminster system of parliament, they technically don't elect a party, they elect an individual. However, let's call a spade a spade. We all vote for a party. If parties were banned, for example, and every MP was an independent, fine, fair enough. But that ain't the system. Parties have effectively co-opted, absorbed, and just infiltrated every strata of our democracy. As such, people vote for parties. Simple as that. Combine that with the fact that there's government whips, and their sole purpose is to whip the vote, to make sure that every member of the party votes in line with party directives. That's how it works. So effectively, you don't really have an independent voice as an MP. Rather, you do what you're told by the party lest you suffer consequences, and we've seen that in the history of Canada. But last election, Canadians rejected a Liberal majority. It was clear. They elected a Liberal minority. The people spoke. And now, your dear leader said, to hell with it. I know better, and I'm going to do it my way, whether you like it or you don't. Which begs the question, if he has this little regard for democracy itself and the process behind it, what tells you he cares about your well-being and works on behalf of what's best for you, your best interest? I mean, we know there's a plethora of conflicts of interest. I've highlighted a handful of them over the last couple of episodes. Side note, go watch them right now if you haven't. And so far, all the bills that the Liberals have been trying to pass have been bills that grant them more government power. Nothing about you, nothing about me, nothing about the plebs and the crises that we're facing domestically mostly, but also slightly abroad. No, it's just how can we get more power into our hands? So, do you think Mark Carney really cares about you? He steps aside democracy to begin with. He doesn't care. Now, this is a line of speculation completely, and I cannot validate that directly, but I do have friends that work in certain levels of government. And before Carney was elected last year, one of them warned me, saying that he's had the chance to hear through the grapevines in Ottawa who Carney really was. And from the information I was given, it's a guy that likes to have it his way. It's his way or the highway. Very little regard for opinions of others. Actually, as a matter of fact, he tends to disdain the people who challenge him. And I'm inclined to believe that there is indeed contempt for this challenge. And I saw that last year when a journalist dared question him about something.
Conflict of interest in your assets. It's very difficult to believe.
Yes.
Trump spent most of his life in the private sector. There's no possible conflict of interest in in your assets. It's very difficult to believe.
So I know you can barely hear what the journalist is saying due to her low microphone, but she's pushing back against Carney, asking him about conflicts of interest due to the sheer size of assets he owns in the private sector and how it is very hard to believe that there is no conflicts of interest. Now, watch his reaction. And I want you to pay attention. Is that the reaction of someone who welcomes challenge, like you would expect a prime minister to? Or that of a guy who wants to be surrounded with yes men, or yes women in this case?
Look inside yourself, Rosemary. I mean, you start from a prior of conflict and ill will. I have served in the private sector.
Look inside yourself, okay? See, that's the thing. The job of a journalist is to be confrontational. It's to ask the tough questions. It's to poke, to prod, to make you feel uncomfortable. It's to get effectively down to the truth. Now, I know that Prime Minister right here is used to the softball CBC questions, but he comes across one day with a journalist who dares poke a little bit, and this is the way he reacts. So I'm inclined to believe the fact that he is indeed what my friend has told me he is. Now, like any organization, things tend to trickle down from the top to the bottom, and this disdain for accountability seems to indeed be festering within his administration. You got here the immigration minister's office that restricts questions to government-approved media outlets only. Hey, are we in communist China? North Korea, perhaps? Or Soviet Union? It can't be Cuba, right, is it? This is the state of our democracy. Governments that are formed through backroom deals and governments who prevent journalists from asking questions. And if you dare ask a question they don't like, they give you attitude and then bar you from ever attending again. So it seems that we're going to be stuck with this liberal government now for at least 4 years because by law, the next election has to be held on or before October 15th, 2029. Gonna be a long one. And things are gonna be very bleak. Very, 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 very bleak. Because now with the majority, all those beautiful laws I mentioned earlier, the ones about more government control, well, they're gonna get passed like this. Easy breezy. So let's dive into one that I find incredibly insidious, super dangerous, and probably will affect me and all of you guys watching this.
Bill C-9, an act to amend the criminal code, hate propaganda, hate crime, and access to religious or cultural places. I declare the motion carried.
Welcome to Bill C-9, guys. When speech becomes criminalized. So you probably think I'm a little crazy, right? It's not really that bad now, can it be? Well, here's the highlight of the bill. And I'm going to read this because I don't want to mess it up, all right? It's too important. Bill C-9 establishes several new hate crime offenses, including a standalone hate crime that allows for up to life in prison. You heard that right. Life in prison. Not a year, not 5, not 10. No, they're going to jail forever because you said something hateful. I really wish I was making this up because I'm actually kind of scared. This bill will also establish a new crime of willfully promoting hatred by displaying certain symbols in a public place, which isn't defined and can only be assumed will be at the will of the government. So I'm sure there won't be any issues for certain colorful flags. Now, will there? But however, other things, Remember a couple of years ago when there was a bunch of F Trudeau flags? Well, I don't think we'll be seeing any F Carney flags anytime soon because everyone who buys them will be in jail. Bill C-9 also makes it easier to lay charges for hate crimes. The bill removes mandatory attorney general consent for the laying of hate crime charges. This means that the police themselves can lay a charge. Wow. And police are known for being fair and, totally not overzealous or corrupted at times. No, they always do the right thing. This will lead to arrest, detention, pretrial proceedings, legal costs, lost wages, and reputational damage, all without the necessary safeguard of Attorney General oversight, which has been a check on police power and charge laying for decades. What else is in this beautiful bill? Removal of the good faith religious opinion defense. It strips the historic protection that prevented conviction for willfully promoting hatred if the statement was a good faith interpretation of a religious text. Cool. I guess religion is done. If you're a Christian, forget it. If you're a Jew, probably forget it. If you're a Muslim, well, I mean, logically forget it, but in this country, again, don't forget, it's really up to the interpretation of the minister. So, I mean, Bill C-9 also codifies and lowers the definition of hatred. Now, this is the part that scares the heck out of me. It defines hatred to mean, and I quote, the emotion that involves detestation or vilification and that is stronger than disdain or dislike. It will just let cops lay charges on you, and of course, then it will be up to a judge to decide, was it really hateful or not? So this is what we've reduced our entire legal system down to, the opinion, not facts, but opinion of feelings of a third person, effectively. I mean, what is dislike or disdain? I mean, this is 1984 Orwellian level of freaking gray zone terminology here. But I mean, we love gray zones in Canada. Most of our laws are written specifically and purposely ambiguous because we want to give that leeway to judges to interpret things, you know? There's really two schools of thoughts in life. Laws should be immutable, and if things need to evolve with time, well, you change the law. Or the Canada way. Law should be gray and up to interpretation by judges. Like that, it gives that little bit of a wiggle room for evolving through the times. Now, we're entering UK level of insanity. May I remind you that just last year, 15,000 Brits were arrested for online posts on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, you name it. And this ain't a joke. I'm not actually exaggerating. Let's take a look at just a handful. And I mean, I could do this for hours. So right here, a man was arrested for posting a picture of himself with a firearm, lawfully taken in the United States of America while on holiday. But back in the UK, he was arrested for it.
The time's 20-3, 1440, arresting you on suspicion of improper use of the electronic communications network. Under
What?
127 of the Communications Act, okay? So you do not have to say that it may harm the defence if you don't mention one question, something which you later on in court. Anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand that?
So I'm actually being
You're
arrested?
going to be arrested, okay?
Right,
So you
and-
go to the police station.
Right.
Ask you, okay, this is in relation to some comments that you've made on a Facebook page.
Oh,
okay?
really? Oh, it's a Facebook crime, is it?
Okay.
Right.
So we need to ask you some questions about that.
Right.
Like, imagine ending up in jail and like all the other like criminals are asking you like, so what are you in for? You know, did you rob a bank? You know, did you run a grow op? Nah, dude. I posted a meme online. Or like, nah, man. I got in a debate and called someone something. God, I'm like scared to even say the word right now. Retarded. No, but seriously, Jesus freaking Christ.
It's 2:30 in the morning. Can I ask why for a second time tonight you are disturbing me and my son in my home?
Yeah, because there's I've been made aware there's videos that have been posted onto social media, including those that were made this morning.
This morning? What made this morning?
And of my officers that have been round this evening.
Right, and
So I'm here to kindly ask that you remove said videos from social media. If you would do
no,
so,
I don't
please.
think I've broke the law, so I don't think I will.
If you, and also I want to advise you that you might well be committing offences under the Malicious Communications Act. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, this is not a dictatorial third world country here. This is the United Kingdom. I mean, after all, it's kind of our forefathers are the ones who have, you know, colonized this land of Canada. Yes, that's what's happening today in the UK. And up until, well, recently, we were shielded from this in Canada. Well, no more. This is coming to your neighborhood real soon. And this gets even more sad when you consider that this bill, Bill C-9, was being debated in a committee in Parliament until the Liberals censored debate. That's right. The Liberals censored debate. They prevented debate from continuing in committee, forcing the vote to happen on the floor. I mean, the absolute irony that you're trying to pass a censorship bill and you censor the people in Parliament whose job it is to keep you accountable, to ask questions, and to prevent such things from happening. I mean, it is ironic beyond measure, but again, kind of fitting, isn't it? And I haven't even touched on Bill C-8, which is the Cybersecurity and Critical Infrastructure Protection Act, which is obviously not that. It's a direct threat to freedom of speech, again, and a massive expansion of government power. Or Bill C-12, which is strengthening Canada's Immigration System and Border Act. But again, it's a massive expansion of intelligence gathering capabilities for the government on its own people. All these bills are always given very lovely names that look like they're doing more good than bad. They're there for you. They're there to protect you. This is for you, after all. Give up your rights and your freedoms. You'll be safer for it. That's basically what they're saying. Don't be fooled. So next episode, I'm going to have to dive a little bit deeper into what C8 is, C12 is, and effectively what Canada could turn into within the next few years. So if you're not already subscribed, smash the subscribe button. Once again, my name is Ellie Daniel, and this was the Right Call Report. Have a good one, or at least try to. Jeez, I'm about to go cry myself to sleep here. Enjoy the last few moments of freedom I have. Why do I feel like, for real, this is going to come back one day? Like, this will be a canon moment, and people will look back at this video and be like, see, called it. He's been jailed. Jeez, I'm jinxing myself now, eh?